Hey everyone, the name is Kris Barocsi. Welcome to Gear Corner. I'm really excited to show you a pedal that's been heavily requested by so many fans of Cornerstone effects or Cornerstone pedals. It's the Imperium. This is how it looks. And what it is a combination of the Gladio SC with the clean blend and the antique overdrive on the other side. So get ready for some really cool tones in today's video. I show you both sides of the pedal separately and then of course stacked in both directions, because that's the unique thing about this pedal, right? If you have a Gladio SC, you know how that sounds. If you have an antique, you know how that sounds. But that kind of mixture, especially in both directions, like Gladio going into antique or antique going into Gladio, you can get really cool sounds out of this thing. So get ready for that. But before we do it, a short reminder, of course, check out the description box under the video for my signal chain, all the gear I'm using, additional infos, timestamps, etc. And if you enjoy what I'm doing here, of course, you can give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe. That would be awesome. All right, let's start with the Gladio SC side, the right side of the pedal. If you know the Gladio pedal, the original double-sided or dual-sided pedal or the SC, you know what it aims for. It's going for a kind of a dumble sound, but not just a dumble sound. It's very specific about the songs and the artist that it was aiming for. You have two different compression settings, which helps you a lot to get close to specific tones. For example, if you leave the clean blend, this knob, on 0 or very low and increase the compression, you can get closer to that Robin Ford kind of dumble-esque kind of tone. If you go up with the clean blend, you have a bit more sparkle and clarity and just a more direct poppy tone. And also switch the comp mini toggle to its lower compression setting. You can get really close to that Stevie Ray Vaughan kind of sparkly, jangly, really cool bluesy Strat tone. The antique side is based on a tube screamer. It doesn't even try to hide it. It celebrates that kind of tone, but it offers you a lot more versatility, of course, because of all the knobs and everything. So first of all, you also have a compression setting here, a mini toggle, where you can leave the compression where you're used to it from a TS pedal, or go back with the compression and have much more dynamic range going on. I love that a lot. Also, you don't only have a tone knob, which is something we're familiar with, but also presence knob. So you can go for a typical super mid-rangey kind of tone if you go down with the presence and crank the tone a bit, or you can make this tube screamer sound less super mid-rangey and a bit more sort of balanced, especially with humbuckers, if you go down with the tone and crank the presence, with which you have a bit more sparkle and just a wider tone. You have one more option to fiddle around with the mid-range, this typical like 1K mid-hump. You have a mids mini toggle as well, where you can leave that mid-hump where it's supposed to be on a TS pedal, or just lower it a little bit to make it sound, again, a little less obvious. And with these combinations, you can actually use this tube screamer type tone or side of the pedal much more with the humbucker guitars or guitars that have a lot of mid-range, or if your amp has a lot of warmth already and you just don't want to push that even more with that aggressive tube screamer mid-range. Then obviously you can stack the two sides. That's where the magic happens. That's, I think, the real strength of this pedal, because if you just use one side, you can get the single pedal as well. So yeah, but if you start stacking the two sides, both are on, you can decide on the order. So you can go for Gladio into Antique or Antique into Gladio, which is of course a very different experience. Imagine a Dumble-esque tone going into a tube screamer, or a tube screamer going into an amp style overdrive, because you can tune the Antique side so well to, just keep the mid-range under control and just give it some sparkle with the presence knob, etc. You can actually make this sound so good if the Gladio goes into the Antique, not only the obvious direction, which would be Antique into Gladio. What are my thoughts on the Imperium and my first impressions with the pedal? I really enjoy the type of mid-range and that creaminess that the pedal has, and that's very unique. I don't really have any other pedals that sound very similar. Of course, there are pedals that will have a very distinct mid-range and like that kind of creamy character, but I do not have anything that comes close to this kind of tone. So when I'm looking for that chewy, really blues focused, blues jazz, that kind of stuff focused tone, I know I will gravitate towards this pedal. I really enjoy playing it. It's a very pleasant pedal to play. Like, it feels very comfortable. You know that feeling, right? When something sounds great, but it's really tough to play it. I had that vibe with back in my heavy days with my rectifier, my triple rectifier. I loved its tone, but it was a bit of a struggle to play that through that amp. It's the opposite with this pedal. You just, even if you don't have a lot of gain dialed in, it's so percussive that it feels great to do little bends and little legato runs and everything, even stuff that would normally scream for more drive. It just works. It feels natural and very comfortable. And that's a big plus in my book when it comes to any kind of gear, whether it's a guitar, pedal, an amp, or whatever it is. Let me know in the comments below how you liked the tones. If there's anything I forgot to mention about the Imperium, yeah, you guys take it easy. See you next week in a new video. And as told, meet you down there in the comments. I'll be back. Bye-bye.